Hello and welcome to OSINT, Fun with Open Source Intelligence, brought to you by Pentester Academy. My name is Jamal bin Lakwal and I will be your host for this fun and exciting course. In today's video, we're going to be talking about gathering intelligence using a recipe. This is important because you can use this recipe right away in your own intelligence gathering endeavors, and it will also be useful to you in our next exercise in our exercise when we gather information on an organization or group of your choice. So I would start off with the Google search. This would be a good first step. I'd look at the company homepage, I'd look at press releases, LinkedIn information, just the stuff that's available right off the bat from there. I would also look at technology being used and job postings, and I would definitely look for helpful people who, like in Quora, answer all your questions and such. I would look for blogs and alumni lists. This is wonderful because they give you potential targets for intel gathering and for making connections. And I would also look to make connections between technologies being used and job postings. So different from the first point, where we're talking about actual LinkedIn type connections. In this point, we're talking about making connections between technology and job postings. Now, a reminder, make sure to save your pages and your work as you go along, because pages do get taken down. And make sure to document your findings. This will make it easier later on when you're actually making connections. Something else you may want to consider is look for related email addresses. I would also then consider running transforms with Multigo to find related sites and domains. Now, a reminder, Multigo is not going to do all the work for you. It will make things easier, however. You can do the same sort of thing with the Google search, but it can take longer, and Multigo can help with that. It can also help you identify other related domains and things which may not be found as easily. Next, you want to consider grabbing any publicly available documents from these sites, from the main pages and such, or other sites, and view the metadata if possible. FOCA can be helpful here. Keep in mind, however, that in a number of cases, they can wipe out the metadata, so you may not see anything, or the metadata, as we've already talked in terms of counter intel, can be faked. So grab it, make note of it, and you'll have to examine as we go through whether it is relevant and it does match up with the technologies being used. And we will cover other technologies and stuff and how to identify them as we go through the recipe. Now, if you're having problems identifying related pages, either via Multigo or Google searches, consider finding one relevant page, either the main page, saving an image, and doing a reverse image lookup. TinEye is really useful in this. You can also consider looking for older pages using the Wayback Machine. If you are finding it difficult to gather data via your Google searches, or finding a hard time getting good search strings, remember to go back to our first video where we looked at the fake dating profiles, or our first videos rather, where we talked about dating profiles, because there were some good Google searches in there. You may also want to consider using the Google hacking database. It's constantly updated with the latest and greatest strings. In terms of looking at technologies, you may want to consider downloading the WAP Analyzer Firefox extension. I do use this. I find it pretty good. It gives you a quick view at what technologies are being used on a given site. Netcraft search is another option. It is also quite useful, and I do recommend this when you are looking at a company page. Also consider looking for company portals, employee login portals and such. Whether it's shift planning or Office 365, they will give you useful information. Now, this is not always the case, but if it is there, it can be extremely valuable. So I would consider looking for personnel changes and employee movements, and you can find this on the AI Hit database. So I do recommend looking to see if your target company or organization is listed here. Check the domains and the main sites you're examining for certificate issues. The drone attack is still around. A number of companies are still vulnerable to this. It is useful. You can also scan the sites for other vulnerabilities for free online, and it's publicly available, so you don't have to give out too much data. You literally just search for it, and it is quite useful. And that's from SSL Labs. As I mentioned earlier, those email addresses you were gathering, well, a pastebin search comes in handy. It can tell you if something's been leaked or compromised. Or in some cases, you can even find internal communications. And you can use the Google custom search you built the previous exercise, or one of my own, which can be found on infosecmindstorm.com. And again, document your findings, make the connections. These are useful. Remember Robin Sage and Mad Max, the guy whose email address was found on the fake dating profile. We used just the fake dating profile and that email address, and we're able to connect it to a real life person and where he worked, or rather what sort of business he was in, and where he was located, and including some stuff about his family and stuff. So also look for social media profiles belong to employees. And you may want to consider using that fake profile you built in the first exercise and using that to browse company LinkedIn pages or make connections. So remember to ask yourself, why is this relevant? Is this true, and does it matter? Can I validate this? And how did I get this information? And that's all the time we have for now, so thank you. And I hope you use this recipe and get familiar with it, because we will use it in the next exercise. Thank you.